So welcome to this third season of Season Day Scholar. And today we have got none other than the editor-in-chief of ES&T Letters, Professor Bryan Brooks. As you know that in the introduction, we keep the secret of the achievements and everything. So you can find in the description as well as at the end of the video. So welcome, Bryan. It is a great pleasure and honor to have you on this program.
Yeah, thanks for having me. I look forward to our conversation this evening or this morning, brother.
How to handle a big class? I mean, the 20, less than 25 is fine. But how to, any tips for that? Quick tips?
I don't know if I've got any tips, but it's an art, right? I think it's a challenge.
Yes.
And I'll have to say I'm probably not the best person to ask about this because most of the classes I'm teaching are 50 or smaller, something like this. But it is an art form to engage the large lecture hall, right? Of course, I've given many lectures with many hundred or even thousands of people. I would hope that
that's what public speaking.
Yeah, but that's a different style, right? And that's oftentimes to technical audiences. So how to connect at in a real way with the 18 to 19-year-old student? I don't think I'm the best person to ask on this front, but I do think that some of these early classes are the most important, even if it's just the one concept, the one point. Maybe it's the one story that illustrates a relationship or interactions between components of a system that I think can stick with students. At least that was some of the things that I recall in larger lecture halls when I was an undergraduate.
Yeah, I mean, because it is relevant to this, and I have, by default, you go to places and talk, address a lot of people. Anything on public speaking?
I think when I was younger, I would practice. Okay, but going through the slides, I think you almost get a bit of a sixth sense after you've lectured a lot. You kind of know, if it's a 15-minute talk or a 12-minute talk or a 40-minute talk. So you're able to kind of dial it in. You can think about the concepts. I think the transitions between points is really key in terms of public speaking to make sure you're taking the audience with you. But I think the most important thing, for students to think about in public speaking is, or even giving a presentation at a scientific conference, is to have a story to tell, right? You must have a story. And so if you can tell your story, right, you'll probably be just fine. But I think there's also some other strategies. In the United States, we study, or we celebrate every year Martin Luther King Jr. Day. Okay, and I'll have to say that every year, for many years now, I go back and I listen to a recording, sometimes more than one, but I always will listen to the recording of his I Have a Dream speech that he gave at this very famous march in Washington, D.C. at the Lincoln Memorial. So a very, very famous time in U.S. history, very troubling time from a race relations standpoint. But if you look at the approaches of some of these incredible orators, sometimes they will repeat the same concept, okay, several times, okay? And so this is a strategy that we've used before, and I think it can also be effective if you are speaking in public. If you've got 3 key points, if you can repeat and reinforce, okay, the key points during the story that you're trying to tell, I think this will also resonate with the audience, and it will also help them to remember perhaps some of the content of your presentation a little bit more clearly.
Wow. I mean, yeah, I'm getting I am happy because I am getting good trade secrets out of you very
Yeah,
quickly.
I'm an
I
open
can
book. I have nothing to hide. So
actually, I have seen in your CV what is most impressing for me is a strategic leadership. And you described that what you contributed. And this is one I am going to put in my CV now. I'm going to tell you. I will not refer you anywhere, but this column I'm going to have it.